Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Cast Brothers, the Smash Brothers podcast that is starting season 6 of its somehow existence. Do not ask me why we are still there. I can only assume that Jonno had some kind of dark dealing with a demon of some sort. Uh, I don't know. We should not still be here. Oh, it was Dreadkong? Now
Yeah,
it makes sense. Dreadkong would, yeah, this tracks now.
yeah.
This tracks
It's
now.
like a curse, but a positive one.
When are we doing a booth set for Dreadkong?
I've been stumping for it for years, and no one's ever done it because doing so would end the podcast and free me of my curse.
If there's anything you've been stumping for years, it's Donkey Kong Jr., which congratulations, we freed you of your curse last episode. You're welcome.
We've done it. We've done it. Now we never have to speak his name again. He's been granted the noble death.
Well, he hasn't been in a Smash or Dash or a Right There Chances yet, so
I don't know if I want him to be in a Smash or Dash. I mean, just given the track record, but we can do it someday.
we'll put him against Kiddy Kong. How about that? Easy win. Easy win.
It's not against Dreadkong, so you know.
God. I mean, thinking
Yeah,
about
we
it, that would be the most. I think that'd be the best comparison character for Junior. Either that or, as you're also fond of, Classic Kong. God, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
We'll have. I know if we had a guest on for that Smash or Dash, I know who it would be.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, that makes sense. I was thinking about someone was like, "Who?" It's like, "Oh, no, I see where we're going with this." Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Precisely.
But yeah, this is our first Smash Rush of the season, and a tradition we started 2 years ago was that for our first Smash Rush of the season, we would pick all characters for both the Smash Dash and the Regular Chances of characters that either debuted in a video game over in the past year or were featured heavily in a new game that released this past year. So like previous year,
Yeah.
like last year we did Andy versus Lloyd Irving for the remakes of Advance Wars and Tales of Symphonia, and we did Meowscarada and Adult Kristen for the new Pokemon and East games. Makes sense. So this year, I mean, you can already see it in the title. I don't know why I ever like building up a mysticism about this, but we'll be talking about Princess Peach and Princess Zelda. Which, wait a minute, those are already in Smash. That's Wait, what? If you can't tell if you can't figure it out from the title, we'll explain that one later. And then a couple of horror remakes we'll get to as well.
Couple of what?
Horror.
Oh, yeah.
Not. Oh my god.
Bringing me back to that potential guest we were talking about.
That's pre-show. That's pre-show. They don't need to know about that. They're also going to be very confused by the lack of context on that, considering what you said. Oh my god. He's referencing the Assassin's Creed episode we did in season 1? 2?
I don't know.
What season that was.
I have no idea.
Meshtopia Ezio Auditore. We made him a moveset. Go watch it or look at his Meshtopia article. Either or.
Good times.
Debatable. Anyways. So, before we get to the Smash Dashes, though, we're going to talk Rate Their Chance. We got 5 characters that, again, follow the same rules of either debuting or being heavily featured in a game in the past year. And we got to figure out what we think their chances are of being playable in the next Smash Brothers game.
Yeah.
Jonno picked 4.5 of these characters. I say half because one of the characters had to be replaced 5 minutes before the show because we realized, their game got delayed to next year. We can't talk about them. They don't exist yet. They're a brand new character whose game got delayed. Yeah, 0%
Yeah.
chance. Actually, I can't
And
say that because of fucking Roy.
I was gonna say they're not from Fire Emblem, so we can't talk about them.
Or I feel like Fire Emblem and Pokemon are like the two franchises who like, yeah, who cares?
Yep. Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, we don't even know the next Fire Emblem game, but yeah, the next Smash is gonna have Alir's son as the lead.
Oh my god. Just named Pepsi at that point.
So that's the name for the boy. The girl is
Yeah.
Colgate.
There you go.
God.
Is that Alir's son with Vander?
Well, what you would do is, since the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with the Switch 1, you can transfer your save data, to the Switch 2. And so the game will actually take the character bonds that you had at the end of Engage, if you got to the end of Engage, and will apply that to the parentage in the next game. So
Oh,
yeah, if you
perfect.
did Alir and Vander, then your new unit in Engage 2 will have skills that come from Alir and Vander.
Perfect. Perfect. That's what I would buy that game for.
It's
To
the
continue the
genealogy.
romance that I've
It's
harvested.
it's like genealogy and Thracia, except they actually pay attention.
Yeah. It's like genealogy and Thracia, but bad.
It's like genealogy and Thracia. Where's the remake?
Good question. Good
Nintendo.
question.
We know it exists. For fuck's sake, it's been 2 or 3 years.
They sat on Engage for over a year too
Yeah,
before
they
release.
sat on a
Like,
gate. They sat on Brothership. Also, we found out Brothership
yeah,
was
yeah,
rated
yeah.
almost a full year before it released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Engage was something like 800 days. It's like, oh my god.
Jesus,
Yeah. Worth the wait.
it wasn't. It's not. It's better than Fates, but it was
Mm-hmm.
mid.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot like Conquest. The gameplay had interesting parts to it, but the characters and the story, I'm like, wow, I don't care at all. Like literally zero. I don't
At
give a
least,
fuck.
at least Fates' characters had good designs.
For the most part, yeah. True.
Not everybody
True.
engaged looks bad. I think Vander looks really cool. Diamant looks great. The new young take on Anna was really inspired. Honestly, I was like, holy shit, that's completely new, and we're giving her personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Uh, Alchrist wasn't my favorite character at all, but I like his design. Ivy and Hortensia and
Mm-hmm.
Rosada were all good, and then you have Celine.
uh who was I thinking of? Oh, Tamara. I liked her too.
Oh yeah, Tamara's a great design, and Fogado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Merritt and Panette are as well. Though I'm not a fan of some of the makeup on Panette just because I don't know, I don't think it looks great with the art style. I think something about it just looks weird. But
Reminds me of that one Pokemon whose name eludes me at this time. Ban
Banette,
what? Whoa.
Panette,
There
Banette.
you go. There's yeah. I would say most of the designs are good or fine, but the ones that are bad are really bad. Like Saline is
Yeah.
the point is the good lord.
What makes it worse with Celine, like if this was just like 2D art, I don't think Celine would look nearly as bad. But it's the same problem that Pokemon had when Pokemon went 3D, is that some designs just don't work well with 3D. And with Saline having the gigantic dress that just somehow stays in place, and then her hair that also always stays in place, and yet if you look at her model, her hair and the dress have like this wide of a gap in between it, and it's always that
Hmm.
same space of a gap between. It's like this was done bad.
Yeah.
Like at least with
Yeah.
Lissa's dress in Awakening, you can see the wire mesh that keeps it at a certain shape because that's what the whole war clerics are designed to look like in that game.
Hmm.
And it's also looks more close. Celine, it's very open looking, and there's no reason for it to be that we can see. I mean, maybe there's a wire mesh inside of it. I don't know, but it still looks very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, the game is it leaves room to be desired.
Yeah,
They
gameplay
overcorrected after three
good.
houses.
Story. It's not that they overcredit. It's that they weren't even
Involved,
Insist.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Insist didn't make the story for Three Houses. They made suggestions, like they are the reason why we have Crimson Flower.
Hmm.
But they didn't write it. They just suggested having it.
Hmm.
Bandai made Three Houses. Insist
Yeah.
did the gameplay, which good job. Bandai made the rest of the game.
So we have a good Fire Emblem on the Switch. One.
It helps. It's fun
Oh yeah. Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
play.
Yep.
Its story also. It's like, okay, so it's Three Houses, but we didn't fix the problems with Three Houses.
Yeah.
We
It's
made the
three
problems
houses with some
worse.
other guy.
Yeah,
I know.
it's Three Houses with some other guy. The problems weren't fixed. The problems were actually made worse. Like, why are we doing that? No.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, if we could have dispatched of certain parties in Three Hopes, that would have been great.
the Slithers?
Yeah,
Yeah, let me kill them.
give us the follow up. Yeah, precisely, precisely.
Anyways, enough Fire Emblem. Why do we bash Fire Emblem so much? We're unlike most Smash fans. We don't even hate Fire Emblem, yet we bash it more than any franchise on this godforsaken show.
Fire Emblem is my favorite Nintendo franchise.
And yet we talk so
Any,
much shit because Smash does a bad job of representing it.
yep, yep, yep. And
Ugh.
because you wouldn't think that they would pull the Fates twice,
Technically a
but yeah,
third time,
mm.
Roy.
Yeah,
Unless that's not what you were
yep,
talking about.
yep, yeah, yep.
Anyway, let's actually get to regular chances now. Because now that everybody has
What's
left,
what's
what?
what's that?
It's
Oh,
that
classic con,
game
100
where we
100%.
no fuck off. It's that game where we talk about different characters that we have pre-selected and be like, hey, what what are their odds of being in Smash? Why is it good or bad? And then we give a number between 1 to 99 because nothing is guaranteed. Not with
Yeah,
Sakurai around.
not in this
It's
life.
both good and bad. All
Waluigi
right.
Christ.
So you selected the characters here. So I'm going to let you take
Yes.
point on most of this here. So with our first character, we have from the new Prince of Persia game, the new protagonist, not the classic Prince, but Sargon. Donna, what can you tell me about
Yes.
Sargon and his
What can I
him in
tell you about?
Smash?
Yep, I am pulling that back up now. So Sargon is the main character of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which came out unbelievably earlier this year, back in January. Feels like a lifetime ago. Um, but and there was some controversy when that trailer first came out. People were like, "Oh, you're not playing as the prince himself, and it's a Metroidvania kind of game." Yada yada, wham wham. Turns out it was a it was a really good game. So whatever. Sargon has abilities pseudo similar to the prince. He wields dual scimitars as his primary weapon, but in typical like Metroidvania fashion, there are a number of other weapons which you can also use. Um, I believe there's a like a chain for recovery, different like combo based attacks, and then he has a this mechanic called Athra, which is like a tandem combo attack where you build up your combo and you can build up your strength as you're attacking, or use it to build up your defense and shield instead. Um, yeah, a very mobile character with again with scimitars and different swords, bows. Uh, he has a sash that he can use to break defenses and attack with. Not a chain; it's actually like a fiber sash, which is interesting. So, yeah, there he is.
So he's got a lot of tools, but his chances of being in
Hmm.
Smash, though.
Yeah. Um, his chances of being in Smash are not great, I would say. I mean, first of all, the Ubisoft studio that developed The Lost Crown was disbanded this year. So Ubisoft is not putting a lot of Montpellier. They're not putting a lot of stock into at least that leg of Prince of Persia. Like, it was critically acclaimed, did not settle their expectations. So they're like, let's get rid of this whole branch and ruin all these people's lives, even though they made some great stuff, Rayman Legends and this game.
Yeah,
Um,
I was gonna bring that up
yeah.
for Sargon here because not only did Ubisoft break up the team that made the game, but they also outright was like, no, we're not doing a sequel. Like, they just straight
Mm-hmm.
up denied it happening. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, they don't want to. And it's because, they didn't get the sales that they wanted. Their sales were disappointing, apparently. And I don't know what the sales of the game actually were. But we gotta take a moment here to talk about game companies, and they need to get their heads out of their asses when it comes to making this use of. We were disappointed in our sales. They didn't meet our sales goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you're putting your sales goals up in the fucking billions, expecting, and you're thinking every game is going to be fucking Fortnite numbers. They're canceling
Yeah.
everything that isn't just a game as a service because they think that's where the money is. It's like when 1 out of 20 of those kinds of games even does well. Make
Yeah.
regular fucking games that don't take 7 years, Square Enix. Ubisoft, whichever. Forgot which company we're talking about. You're all problems and you know it.
Yeah. And to put that into perspective too, like looking at other kind of niche franchises or spin-offs, whatever, like Dragon Quest Builders sold over 700,000 units. That's less than The Lost Crown, and that series is still ongoing in theory. There's been two titles at least. Um, and so this is just, and then, what is it? Then Sega, Atlas is allowed to push sales for games like smaller games like 13 Sentinels, Unicorn Overlord. They consistently, the Vanillaware games go for around 1 million units as well. They don't shelve those companies.
No.
They're like, oh, it was a good. So Ubisoft has a problem with production budgets, and they're a mainstream company. They're one of the most, besides Konami, one of the most just egregious, obnoxious companies. Um, and I don't know. They've been polling this left and right. I can't recall other titles that recently, but their sales projections. Oh, the last Mario and Rabbids, they were saying, oh, our sales projections were nowhere near our a reality.
Yeah,
And
Square Enix has
yeah.
had that big problem with that as well. Like they talk about how like the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't sell. It really underperformed our expectations. Like, listen, guys. First of all, it's one console. Second of all, that counts as the PS5, which has which is a smaller player base than the PS4. Not a whole lot of people upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second game in a trilogy of a remake where people are already disappointed and frustrated that thinks that there are changes and it's not just essentially an HD port. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't going to hit crazy sales. You guys are fucking nuts. If anything, fire your executives. They're the idiots.
Yeah.
And maybe some of your marketing team. I don't know.
You know, it all starts up top. Get those execs. They're overpaid anyway.
Thank God the exec that one of the NFT shit is gone.
Oh God, I didn't know that. That's something to celebrate.
Yeah, that was
God.
the president.
Oh, lovely.
Hmm. Anyways, rant. We do those.
Yeah.
Sargon. Yeah. One, the whole his game, his studio got shuttered, and Ubisoft's like, nah, we don't need a sequel. And two, I feel like if you're gonna do a Prince of Persia character, you're not gonna do this guy. You're just gonna do the prince. Like
Yeah. I mean,
if
it would
this
be
guy's
one.
game did sell crazy numbers and it was getting planned for a sequel, then I could see them considering him over the prince as like the new legacy. But no, there you go, Prince. 1%.
Hmm. Yeah, and then the other question is even for the Brent, it's like what other franchises? Rayman. I mean, good lord, Rayman, Assassin's Creed, uh, Tom Clancy, maybe. There are a few that are still in contention there. I don't know if the Prince would ever get in, and therefore Sargon has worse chances than him. It's 1%.
I would put him in like granted I don't know all the Ubisoft franchises, but I would put Rayman of the ones that you've mentioned, Rayman, Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, Tom Clancy.
Yeah, yeah. Just Dance.
If we're is above Tom Clancy. If we're
Watch
getting a
Dogs.
regular shooter above Tom Clancy, also probably above Just Dance. To be fair, it's more
Yeah, probably
unique.
so. Probably so.
Like we're
Okay.
not getting generic military man. If we get a generic military man, at that point, throw me overboard.
We get Ghost from Call of Duty, but we also get Waluigi in the same game. And Gino.
Listen, this timeline is already cursed.
Exactly. It can't get any worse, so.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
could get a
yeah, yeah,
lot
true,
worse
true, true, true.
real fucking quick. Anyways, what's your percent for Zargon?
Oh,
Okay,
1%.
1% overall. That's not changing. Welcome to the 1% bargain bin. It's a party of 9. It's a party of 9 currently. There's 9
Nice.
characters in the 1% club. There is somebody in the 1.5% club. Oh, and in a 1.3% club. Oh, fancy.
Oh, love.
Anyway,
One day we'll release the whole encyclopedia.
no. Next character is Ashley Robbins from Another Code. Just got her games remade for the Switch in the past year. I've been
Hmm.
wanting to pick them up, but I feel like they're also kind of games I want to stream, and there's just too many games.
Yeah, same. Same. Just having again, it's the issue that a lot of gamers have when they are old and there's a niche game out like this. It's like, do I have the time for this? No.
It's like all these
Um,
detective based games, like I want to play them, but it's also just like if I play them, I can only play them once because you lose the mystery after your one playthrough. It's like if I'm
mhm.
only going to do it once, I want it to be like as a recording or a stream, which is also what I kind of regret Famicom Detective Club. But I wasn't regular streaming, I don't think, when I started playing those. So
Right. And it looks like it's pretty meaty for a detective like this kind of game. I guess it's 17 hours between both games on the cartridge. Um, but yeah, I mean, unlike other Nintendo characters, this is a very grounded character. I mean, she does interact with like ghosts and shit, but it's she herself is just a kid, just a girl. And I won't speak that much to the capabilities here because I have no clue. I mean, you you just kind of take from. I would imagine you take from the different like iconic puzzles and mysteries from the games and find a way to incorporate that into the character. Very much like in a Yumi Tachibana or whatever. It's very much just up to interpretation. It would be a very technical and strange moveset. And there's room for that.
Yeah,
There's room for that in Smash.
I would
I'll say
love.
she has better chances than Sargon,
Yeah,
at
I
the
don't
very
think
least.
that's a
Yeah.
contest.
No.
So I would love to have like a visual novel mystery character in Smash because they're gonna be fighting very differently. I don't know that we need to go quite the gimmick that was Phoenix Wright in Marvel's Capcom 3. I don't think we need to go. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I would look to have a character in this genre be playable,
Hmm.
whether it's Ashley Robbins, Phoenix Wright. Professor Layton's not quite the same genre, but he's in that similar mold. A Danganronpa character, a Yumi Tachibana, Kyle Hyde. There's so many
Yeah.
good options. Um,
Yeah.
Yuma Coco Head from Master Detective Archives.
Emio.
No, no, not Emio. No, I finished Emio, but I would not have Emio be the playable choice. Uh, no, no. I think anybody that suggests that hasn't played the game.
Well, I mean, just they're a serial killer with a bat with who puts bags over people's heads, or they have a bag over their head. That might be a little much. Might be a little much.
Talk about it after. Anyways, Ashley, I think she could fill this role. I don't necessarily think she was like if they're wanting to do something in this vein. I don't think she's who they would choose. I do think they would either do a Yumi if they wanted somebody that was Nintendo branded, or if they were just looking uh, gaming wide. I think Phoenix Wright is the biggest character in this arena. There's a chance though. If I had played her game, maybe I would be a little bit more positive. You know, that's always kind of the thing. I'm just gonna slap it
Hmm.
on a 6%.
Yeah. Um, I agree. It's not a question of if they're going to have this kind of character. It's a question of who. Phoenix is the most high profile by a fair margin. Leighton can still happen. It just kind of depends on the development cycle and if what level five's present for Nintendo is at the time. But then you get into all this other muck gray area, and Ashley kind of exists in that area. Another code being released on Switch was a fun surprise, but it doesn't necessarily take up her chances, especially as time goes on again.
Yeah.
So six is fair and good. I will say 9.
All right. We're gonna be hitting 7.5% then.
Very nice.
I was gonna say that's a unique number. It is actually not. Dang. Starman also is at a 7.5% chance.
Wow,
Next,
that sounds about fair.
mhm.
Anyway,
Next up, a classic character who I think they've tried to revitalize multiple times to mixed success. Bill Reiser from Contra.
yeah, that guy. The first game came out in 1987, and the last one was Operation Galuga, which again came out earlier this year as the theme of this episode goes. Um,
Wasn't the wait was
yeah,
wasn't there a 3D one a couple years ago?
there was a top-down 3D one that was not well received. Rogue Core, but I think maybe at some point there was. I'm not recalling which it was though. But yeah, I mean, it's a series that's persisted. I mean, it's a Konami series, running gun game, kind of one of the progenitors of the running gun genre, up there with Gunstar Heroes and a couple others. So it's definitely a classic. Definitely has legacy. It's kind of exists in that nebulous space with, a little on a lesser pedestal than the games that have made it insofar. It's not Castlevania. It's not Mega Man, but it's up there. It's one that people from the 80s and 90s remember fondly and still exists today. Um, and that gives it, you know, a certain level of precedent, but how much and how much versus other types of characters similar to what Bill can do.
Yeah, I think Bill is one of the few NES era big name retro characters that doesn't have a presence in Smash. The other big one being, as you've heavily lobbied for in the past, Ryu Hayabusa. Like
Mm-hmm.
there might be others that I'm missing, but I feel like those are the two big ones. I don't know, maybe you consider Bub and Bob, but I think they're a little bit
Mm-hmm.
harder to visualize. I'm sure
Yeah,
they could probably be done, but Bill and Ryu would be a lot easier.
yeah. Them, Dana from Solomon's Key, Mighty Bomb Jack, the car from City Connection,
Whoever those
Vic
are.
Viper.
He's just a dude in the ship.
Oh, Sophia from Blaster Master.
Is a tank. Actually, I think
Okay.
that might
Of
be a retcon or a reboot
yeah,
where
there.
Sophia was the tank. I'm not sure.
Sophia's the tank, and there's a guy that drives her that you can pop out of the tank and fight with too.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, I did check. Yeah, Road Core was yeah, the 3D Contra game that I was thinking of that was not well received. It came out in
mhm.
2019, actually, so not that. I guess that was. Oh
Yeah,
God, 2019 was a while ago.
5 years
God, everything from 2020 on has just been
pre-event.
a swamp.
Yep, yep. We thought that it was going to get drained by Miracle Bokateupa.
No, Bonk's Adventure.
Also, no.
Bill Reiser. I think his chances are all right. I think they're definitely better than uh, uh fuck, who were we talking about before? Tom Clancy. It's better than Tom Clancy. Uh
Sam,
because
Sam Fisher from yeah.
the thing
Anyway.
with like all these gun-based characters is you look at them and it's like, okay, you're a gun-based character. What can you do that's different from other gun-based characters? Oh, you have different guns.
Hmm.
Cool, thrilling,
Hmm.
exciting. Can you give me something else, please?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think Bill, the way you run him is you just base him off of the different power-ups from the original game, and then you just change like
Hmm.
how his gun fires. I think that's really all you truly do. Maybe pull for like from the other older games. I don't know how far back you should really cut it off, but I would
Yeah.
base primarily off of Contra One and Super Contra.
Hmm.
I think that's just the what makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, you have the grappling hook, plasma thrower, homing missile, barrier, smart bombs, other types of bombs, other types of like flamethrowers and types of bullets that come out of the guns. So there's enough there. And there's like the helicopter E thing that you can use as an aerial too. It's not like super exciting, but or you could summon an alien monster for the final smash, so that's kind of cool. There's stuff there. I think um his biggest adversary at this point is probably another classic gunner character or just another classic character in general. Like I wouldn't imagine that Hayabusa and him would make it in the same game, or at least not, the same round. Let's say that one is in one pack of DLC and one's in the other.
Yeah,
That
I
sort of thing.
I don't think they would pick him for the gun. I think they would just pick him as like here's an old classic character.
Hmm.
But
Right,
and I agree with you. I
precisely.
think Hayabusa would come up first.
Mm-hmm.
That said, one
Hayabusa. Yeah.
positive for Bill is he comes with either a real easy costume or a real easy Echo in Lance Bean, the
Yeah.
second player. Like that's easy swap right there. Hey, look, we've
Yeah.
got our
Yeah.
Victor.
Yeah.
Bring him in the
Precisely.
same
Yeah.
time.
I would be somewhat enthusiastic about that just because I like the idea of having these older characters in the game. I I think it's Hayabusa, maybe characters that we don't necessarily look at often, like Marco
Double
Rossi
Dragon.
might be direct competition for him. Yeah,
Oh, true, yeah.
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it exists in that world, and just so I'm kind of voting in the essence of what's that second, because I think Hayabusa still has a pretty good shot. Like, who's that second classic character that could stand behind Hayabusa? Is like, oh yeah, they still have pretty okay chances.
Yeah.
And Bill's a good candidate for that. I can see that happening. It's not something the Smash community talks about often, but that doesn't really mean a whole lot,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, I'm kind of leaning like 30%.
That's a lot higher than where I was leaning. But I
Yeah.
don't think it's necessarily too far out there. I was more looking at 14.
Okay. What would be the average there?
Between 14 and 30? 22.
That sounds reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yep.
All right. Or this next one, I'm going to take point on. Because I think you picked this one to fuck with me. And I hate you. Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII, Remake, Rebirth, Kingdom Hearts 2, guys, God Bless the Ring. I think she might be in that. I'm not entirely sure. It's an old Square fighting game where they decided to throw in Final Fantasy 7 characters for some fucking reason. Don't ask. I don't understand why they
Oh,
did that.
okay then.
Yeah. So Tifa is here because Jonno is like, haha, what if we had a third Final Fantasy 7 character instead of somebody from a different Final Fantasy? It's like, listen, go fuck yourself. You son of a bitch. Uh Honestly, if we were to get a third Final Fantasy 7 character, it is Tifa or Aerith.
Hmm.
Personally, I will probably pick Aerith.
That would be interesting.
But Dissidia Duodecim did pick Tifa to be the third Final Fantasy 7 rep. So there's
Hmm.
already precedent with that. That
Yeah.
said, this will be a Sakurai choice, not a Nomura choice.
Right.
Uh Honestly, I don't think so. I honestly don't think it would happen. I don't know if we would necessarily get a third Final Fantasy character. Period. I would love it. I don't know that we'll necessarily get. I don't know if that necessarily will happen though. I will say I don't think it'll be Tifa or Aerith or anybody else from Seven. Actually, you know who it probably would be?
Jesse.
Zach Fair,
Oh Lord. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that when we got to this.
because Zach could be a semi clone. Not he'd be
Hmm.
more than an Echo. They could easily just have him be an Echo. It makes it work on multiple levels. But Zack and Cloud actually fight very differently. So I would semi-clone that. But as far as Tifa is concerned, she is the monk of the game, the agile fist fighter. Uh, Dissidia builds her around her along about being wow words. Dissidia builds her as being like the feint type of fighter. She's able to just like dodge around things, extremely
Hmm.
agile. Um, can also summon dolphins and punch with them.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I figured you would be. They're not doctors though; they're just regular dolphins.
So they're not going to send you to the ER.
No, but they might send you up a tower, and
Oh,
then you get to join a parade.
this gets better the more we explore this.
Yeah. Anyways, um, yeah, I honestly just don't. I don't think it'll happen. Like, I understand why people think it's possible after Sephiroth. I think Sephiroth was very much a an exception to the rule, though. Not that there is a rule, but when you think about the biggest villains in video games, Sephiroth is fucking up. Like, there's Bowser, there's Ganondorf, there's Dr. Wily, there's Dr. Eggman, and there's Sephiroth. I don't know what the
Yeah.
order of this is, but he's absolutely top 10 and is one of the most recognized villains in all of gaming.
Hmm. Bowser's definitely number one. Besides that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sephiroth could be number 2, for all I know. I don't know. I don't know, but it might be Ganondorf. I feel like Well, I don't even know if it could be Ganon. It's somewhere between Sephiroth, Ganon, Wily, and Eggman. I feel like, at least for just like
Huh.
people that have known gaming from the beginning. Otherwise, some
And
people
Neil, yeah.
nowadays might say, I don't know, who's the newest dumbass villain of the 2020s. Whatever the new children think is the big hot villain. I don't know.
Mirror B.
Oh wait, no, I know the answer. Lady D.
Oh God.
Oh, I forgot Wesker in the iconic villain list. That's on me. Wesker deserves to be up there.
Val 3.
We gotta get you more. I need you to learn more things about 14 than just Val 3.
Okay.
Fuck, no.
Console J.
No.
Anyway.
Tifa, Lockhart.
Yeah.
Odds are
Yeah,
low.
yeah. 7%.
I thought about it. But I'm not going to say that because I gave Ashley Robbins a 6. And I think Ashley's... Actually, you know what?
I think Tifa has higher chances than Ashley.
I'm debating it because I'm not... At first, I'm just like, nah, she does. But actually, I'm like, you know what? Maybe she does? Or should I just say 6 to call it even?
Maybe so.
Are you doing 7, though?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm just going to do 7%. Fuck it. Nice of you. All right. Last but not least, this character was the replacement character for somebody else. And they've existed before this year. But they definitely got their big game this year. And I think it's nominated for Game of the Year. Or at least it's nominated for some awards. Astrobot from Astrobot.
Oh, shucky ducky now.
Please don't shuck the ducks.
Last guy who did died.
Yeah. That's why you don't shuckle the fuckle. Wait, fuck.
From Pokemon?
Yes. Don't fuckle with shuckle.
Okay. Yes.
Are you
sure.
not aware of that?
Not this time.
Shuckle is broken.
Oh.
Unless something has changed, or maybe there's been a new Pokemon that's come up since then. But at one point, Shuckle, under the correct build, could do more damage in a single attack than any other Pokemon.
481,266,036 points of damage.
In one attack.
Wow. And yeah, that is the exact saying. You don't fuckle with Shuckle. 12 years ago they came up with that. Amazing.
Astrobot, though, is he's a butt. You know, he's a little guy. We like little guys. Recently, it's the star of the game Astrobot, which is very much a 3D Mario platformer. And what some people have been saying is like, oh wow, it's the best Mario platformer we've had in a few years. Like, damn. I'm not sure if that's a burn on Nintendo or on Sony. But the game has been very well received. I have bought it myself. I haven't started it yet because I want to stream it. But it seems interesting. Like the first trailer came out, people were just like, "Oh my god, this looks good." But this little guy, he's got a few different abilities. He's got a grappling arm kind of deal that he can do. He's got an umbrella he can deploy, a hang glider, shoot laser beams out of his feet, which I'm assuming help him to glide. And he's basically just like a old school platforming character that Sony is using as a legacy character. He represents like through his game, they represent a lot of different big Sony franchises. I don't know if they're just skins or if you get any abilities from any of them. I'm not really sure because I haven't played it and I've been trying to stay away from any spoilers on it. But like I've seen costumes of some of the characters, like this costume of Kratos. Um, there's a costume I think of Sly Cooper. Some things people really wish would have costumes that aren't in the game, but it's pretty much because they asked and were told no. Like there's nothing from Final Fantasy. They tried. Square said no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the costumes. Nice. Sweet. The Ape Escape one.
Oh yeah, the
God.
Ape Escape. I think that was one of the first ones that they showed off.
Yeah. What's up with the cow? Well, either way, impressive.
You'd have to show it to me because I'm not looking at the same thing you are.
Nope. Here, okay.
Oh, apparently I'm
Um
looking at a screenshot here where like he's flying on some kind of like a ship, and the ship is literally a PS5 controller, but the grips have like thrusters in them. Like, that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah. Sweet.
Oh yeah, this. I don't know what that counts to, but yeah, like there's Parappa the Rapper. There's Jack. I'm not sure if that's a medieval reference or not. There's Ratchet, some random teddy bear. I don't
Hmm.
know. Is that bottom left on Assassin's Creed?
I think that's Bloodborne.
Ah, that makes sense. And then
Yeah.
the bottom middle is just a PS1 version of him. That's cool.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Astrobot,
Wow, that
hmm?
really well reviewed game.
Yeah,
Didn't realize
it's
that.
done very
Nice.
well. Like I need to bring up the Game Awards here real quick. I know it got nominated for some things. I don't know if I don't remember if it was nominated for Game of the Year or not, but I know it has been nominated
Mhm.
for some awards. Yeah, Game of the Year nominees: Astrobot alongside Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. This game
Okay.
is done very well. So on that
Nice.
level, it's got huge appeal, wide recognizability right now. Here's the problem though. It's a Sony mascot.
Yep.
That's the big hurdle. If this was a Nintendo character, good odds. But if this was a Nintendo character, this would also be a Mario game. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it would be. It looks like it plays very similarly to Galaxy.
Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned. I think Galaxy and Sunshine is what I've heard a lot of.
Interesting.
Except
A
there's
modern
no flood.
sunshine.
Without
Yeah,
flood,
yeah.
that
Well,
is.
well, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
But yeah, it's like Sony is like in one word. Sony's how I would wrap up my thoughts on him being a character. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't think we're at the point where Sony would play with Smash. I mean, they're a little better now. I forget what exactly happened recently where they allowed some sort of crossover thing to happen, but it did. I think there was like a Crash Bandicoot reference in an Xbox game or an Activision game.
well,
Um,
they don't own Crash, and actually, what you're thinking of
mhm.
is Astrobot does have Spyro in Crash parts. Yeah,
Right.
like they did have to talk to Xbox and get approved for that since Xbox owns those franchises now. But they
Hmm.
were huge PS1 era mascots.
Right, and okay, but that's Microsoft playing nice with them, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Um, so that's that. It's okay, yeah. I could see Astrobot being the character that breaks that mold, but not now.
I honestly don't think Astrobot would be the character that breaks the mold. I feel like if they,
Kratos. Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily if it would be Kratos. I think he has a shot. Um, the problem with Sony is that they have been over pretty much since the PS3. Sony's been very up on their own shit.
Yep.
And it's been bad. PS3 was their
Yep.
worst era in regards to that. But I believe Sony, or at least like the gaming division, has gotten a new president in the past year. So there's hope that maybe he'll be less dickish about this kind of thing. Who the hell knows though? But I feel like if they were going to give a huge Sony brand character, it would probably be something that's a character, like a Kratos or a Jack and Daxter, uh, something along those lines. I don't think it'll necessarily be
Mhm.
Astrobot. That said, if we were going to get like a PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale 2 thing, I would give Astrobot a 99% for that game.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking happening.
Hmm. Definitely. But yeah, I mean, it's for Smash,
Yeah.
1%.
Uh, I'm not going to say 1% because we do live in a world where Sakurai is still alive. Just to remind you that there are worse timelines out there.
Yep.
I am gonna say 2 or 3.
Okay. I'll say 3. Be spicy.
All right, I'll say 2 then, so we can have a 2.5.
Cool.
All right. So, rate their chances is over, which means we now move into Smasher Dash. We got our 2 matchups here that we're ready to go with. And we're going to be starting off with a pair of Nintendo ladies who have gotten their own game when they normally do not. In fact, each of them has had one previous game that you could call their own a while back. One of them a bit more recent than the other. But we've got Princess Peach versus Princess Zelda. Now, specifically, this is Peach utilizing where she would have a moveset pulled only from Princess Peach Showtime, and Zelda where she would have moves that pulled only from Echoes of Wisdom. So much like how we have things like Toon Link and Young Link and Dr. Mario, this is Showtime Peach versus Echoes Zelda.
Yes, it is.
Previously, they only had their
Yes,
big
it is.
playable games of Super Princess Peach and which one was it? The CDI Zelda game? Was it Wand of Gamelon or was
Uh,
it Faces of Evil?
looking that up here. Zelda's Adventure. In fact.
Zelda's Adventure. So yeah, she was the playable character in that game, not Link. So they both had their own debut before. This is their round 2, and I think for both of them, a better game. Well, some people might disagree about Peach.
One person may disagree about Zelda, but it's not me. It's some other schmuck.
I don't want to meet that. Actually, you know what? No, I don't want to meet that person.
I think you may have talked to them briefly before.
Somebody that thinks Zelda's Adventure is a better game.
Yeah.
Have they played
Way off
Echoes of
trail.
Wisdom? Way Trail doesn't even know that game exists.
Yeah, that's why he thinks it's better.
No, he doesn't even
It's
know either of these
so
games
contradictory.
exist.
Ah, what a sad existence.
Keep it together, you Arizonan plebe.
Who's Zach?
Yeah. All right. So I've played all of Prince Pizza Showtime. Did it all over stream. I know I watched a little bit of Echoes of Wisdom, but I know that you were wanting to play that one yourself. Did you get through the whole game?
Hmm. No, but I played a good amount.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and get started here by telling us about the Zelda in this game, how she functions, and whatever else you want to say about Echoes of Wisdom.
Okay, yeah. I mean, monumentous moment, first time in I don't even know how long, 30 something years in Zelda history, 20 something, a long time. Zelda's playable because we're not acknowledging that Zelda's adventure is something that exists.
We already
So,
did.
I know, but it's outside of the canon at the very least, the very complicated canon. So, yeah, you play as Zelda in this game. At the beginning, there are little pockets where you play as Link or you play in a form like Link. But for the most part, you're playing as Zelda for the majority of this game, the vast majority. Um, Essentially, she escapes from this dark mess at the beginning um, that is consuming Hyrule. You've seen iterations of it in the last couple of games too, with Gloom and
Ah,
shoot, whatever the other thing was called. But Calamity, of course. But yeah, this is its own thing. I'm forgetting the name of it again.
the
But
Trirod?
no, yeah, but she gets the tri rod after she escapes from nearly getting consumed by that other world, that void, and has a companion, a little fairy like weird looking creature named Tri, of course. And
Yeah.
there's pretty potent actually story beats regarding that character and why it's called that. But that's spoiler territory. Essentially, though, with the Tri-Rod, Zelda can do a few things. She can the primary function is to summon echoes. You can copy, like I think, well over 100 different types of things in this game. Most of them are different types of enemies that you encounter. Every standard enemy you fight can be turned into an echo and be used. You can generate them into your own version of that monster to fight on your behalf. And then you can also summon beds and clouds
It,
and tables and pots and boxes and all sorts of stuff. Rocks, boulders, this and that, blocks of lava, blocks of ice, blocks of water, and just really mess with the environment. And that would be undoubtedly what she would be doing. This like toy version of Zelda, uh, just summoning chaos with the tri rod.
I'm
There are
sorry.
also
I had to kill
yeah.
chaos.
um, but yeah, that's mostly that. You can do other things with the Trirod. She can like in Tears of the Kingdom of the Wild, there are you can pull objects with it. You can move along with an object with it. But the primary function is again the echoes. There are also automatons that are like slightly stronger wind up versions of like clones of enemies that you can also use that I don't think would be a big part of the move set. They are kind of unnecessary to be honest. But that's her. She can also spin around. A nice little light little spin.
Glorious.
Yeah. But what about Peach?
So, Peach, I want you to picture for a second, you're going to the theater. You're going to go see a play. And then the theater gets attacked, and you're told you have to get on stage and save the show. What would you
Hmm.
do?
I would get on stage and save the show and fight the Grapey Menace.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to go through a few magical girl transformation sequences in order to get that to happen. He's processing this. He's not sure if he wants to commit anymore. You're muted. John, we can no longer hear Jono. I'm okay with this personally. So I'll just go back to talking about Peach and her new game. So yeah, Princess Peach Showtime. Peach goes to the theater. It gets attacked, and the stars are more or less kidnapped, basically. And Peach has her own little companion because Nintendo loves giving its heroes a little floating companion. I swear to fuck. Jesus, Nintendo. But this time it's Stella, who's a little fairy. Can give Peach the power of Sparkle. And Peach is able to take on several different roles in this game to go to different performances and fight off Grape's minions, which are called the Sour Bunch. She's like just these little shithead guys. Jonno has had to restart his Discord. Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, Peach has
Hello.
welcome back. Peach has, she's got Sword Fighter Peach, Detective, Patissier, Kung Fu, Ninja, Cowgirl, Figure Skater, Dashing Thief, Mermaid, and Mighty. And then in the final act, there's a Radiant Peach and Super Radiant Peach, which is like you're doing your final boss type shit with that. Not all of these are very actiony. The actiony ones are Sword Fighter, Kung Fu, Peach, Cowgirl, Dashing Thief, Mighty, and debatedly Figure Skater. And then Mermaid, Detective, and Patissier are just like straight puzzles, or a little bit of rhythm with Mermaid. But with a Showtime Peach, I don't know if they would just like have her just like do some of the moves and the whole this with this one dress, or if she'd like do a brief transformation for some of the special moves, or they're gonna pick just one and only represent four things now in the special moves, and just like maybe objects come out for standards and smashes. Hard to say what they would do with that. I think Sword Fighter is the most likely to make an appearance, and then maybe Cowgirl in might. Actually, no. I think if I was gonna pick four, I would probably say I would predict Sword Fighter, Cowgirl, Mighty Peach, and Dashing Thief. Although Dashing Thief and Cowgirl both have some similarities because they would both just be like throwing a lasso slash throwing a grapple. I'm kind of unsure about that action now that I think about it. Maybe Figure Skater then. Or Ninja. Kung Fu. I don't know. But point is, she has several different
Patissier.
dresses. Yeah, I don't know how you do that one for a move set. First match set, sure, she could just like throw a cookie and just bash you in the head with a cookie. Sure,
I would enjoy that.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah,
But
I would.
as a fighter, I'm not sure how some of these will go. Some are very easy. The problem is that a lot of these, like the gameplay, is very simple in this game, which isn't necessarily bad, but it is simple. Like Sword Fighter, like Sword Fighter is like a basic combo, but you're basically a lot of times you're just doing like a dash attack. Or like Ninja is very dashing. Kung Fu does dashes. Mighty Peach is dashing punches. It's a lot of dash combat. Is really what the attacks are. They can just take the idea of these and make new moves out of them easily, or just have it be like some weird hodgepodge of it all, and just like all the different outfits are Peach's ults. That's very possible. And the final smash is going to be Super Radiant Peach doing a giant laser because that's what Super Radiant Peach does. You're muted again, by the way. Your microphone is being a thing. Basically, this game is kind of a Kirby game, in all honesty. Especially like the final boss is very Kirby. That's how it feels to me. Which then when you realize that
Oh,
this game is made by Goodfeel, which they didn't really make Kirby, but they did make the Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World. It's like, I get it. They
yes.
also made
So
Wario
they
Land
have
Shake
some
It.
experience.
They made
Nice.
they made Wario Land Shake It, and then they made Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I mean, Alpha Dream made it, but they must have assisted in some form. I wonder how much they did.
I guess so. So they're familiar with Eldritch Horrors then.
I mean, Yarn Poochie. So yes.
My good friend.
Hmm. But yeah, that's Showtime Peach and Echoes Zelda. So what do we think of them both in Smash?
I think it's doable. I mean, good thing we're not talking about likelihood, but I think it's doable.
I mean, again, if we can get Dr.
I
Mario
mean,
and three
otherwise,
different links, it's certainly a
also fair.
possibility.
I would rather have either of these two characters than any of those, and we have all of those in Smash.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Well, I would have one link above all the rest of them, but not two
I would
others.
probably have Dr. Mario above them too. At least that's a
Yeah,
unique
he is a
thing.
good friend of mine. Yeah, yes. Oh yeah, it's Dr. Dolphin who was that. That's right. Um, yeah, I like the idea of I haven't played Showtime past the demo. I would like to get it at some point, but again, it's just that eternal issue of if I have enough time to play a couple games, even in a
Honestly,
year, you know.
only get it for a discounted price. Well, it's
Yeah,
not that I dislike the game. It's definitely not worth $60.
right. Right. And there's that discussion with top-down Zelda, like, oh, is a top-down game worthy? It's like, yeah, I mean, in this grand world of game price inflation, yeah, I think Echoes of Wisdom's worth it. The playtime is up there, and the gameplay is unique enough. But anywho, yeah, that was my concern with Peach. That was a little overpriced for the amount that you're getting for it.
Yeah.
But not that it's a bad game or anything. Maybe too easy, but whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting capabilities that Peach has in this game. I mean, I'm definitely interested in seeing. I don't know. Again, I don't know about the execution. I'm not necessarily excited about like, oh, the primary costume maybe being the sword fighter one. It's like, okay, well, that means you get Martha's Peach. You get Peach Marth. But
I
but
mean, we
others
have
like
so
the
many other Marths. Why not?
also true, like the cowgirl one, the mighty one. If you can do Patissier somehow dashing, I mean, all of the other ones are more interesting at the very least. All other what 9 of her transformations plus the radiant one for the final smash. That's
10.
cool.
10.
It's yeah, yeah. It's doable.
Mermaid Peach might be
And
kind of hard to do, though.
yeah, maybe a taunt or something. Um, yeah, and then Echo Zelda. I mean, again, just the idea of summoning a pod or a table or a bed to smash people with is pretty entertaining in and of itself. There would also be a meta game to it. I think like in Echoes of Wisdom, there's where you're constantly stacking bed summons or whatever to climb up, higher platforms. I think that that's something that you would do in Smash with the character, or to like build summon a barrel or a rock or something impromptu to work as a shield,
So we're
something along those
Fortnite
lines.
now.
Kind of, yeah. And then you can stack up to 3 at a time, and then when you summon the next one, the first one out of those row that you summon disappears. That's how that works. Or you can, there are other functions that let you manually make things disappear or automatically get rid of all of the summons at the same time. All of which I think would be a part of the moveset. Um, yeah, and I mean you can summon a cloud to move around in. And just all the different enemy types, Lizalfos, Moblins, crows, whatever. I mean,
A sign,
it's
a
pretty
grilled
much,
fish,
yeah,
a stuffed
yeah,
toy.
yep. It's pretty much near endless the possibilities that you can do with this, and that's where it might get a little messy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
There are some kids
yeah,
where we have a hard time because they don't have a lot to them, or at least they don't have a lot to them enough to play around. And it's just like, oh, okay, it's
hmm
gonna be like Spyro. I love Spyro, but everybody knows what a Spyro moveset will look like. There is no variation. But then
hmm
Zelda here has too many options. A Mega Man problem. There's so many different things they could do. How do you narrow it down? That's the problem with those characters.
yeah, agreed. But again, it's doable.
Yeah,
It can be done. It can be done. Just identifying some of the key things. I think some of what appears earlier in the game. You're definitely going to be summoning a bed. You're
I
going to be summoning a moblin to attack somebody.
I think a bed. I would either have the bed be as like a smash attack kind of thing, kind of like Villager's bowling ball, where he just drops it, or the
hmm
bed is a victory animation. Zelda
Yeah.
summons the bed and she goes to sleep, and she recovers her hearts.
hmm Yeah. There you go. But this is an opportunity. We've talked about a summoning character before. There are a few on the Smashopia wiki that you've done. Yugimoto, Kirin.
Yeah.
being another one, and the idea has been tantalizing to us, as people have been designing movesets for Smash for a while. Um, this is a plausible option for a summoning character.
Yeah, it really is.
Very,
Like,
yeah,
would I
yeah,
rather the summoning character not be a second version of Zelda when the Zelda franchise has a problem with its representation? Yeah,
yeah,
I would. But I also think that Echo Zelda be fucking funny and be a lot
yeah.
better than when people used to propose Breath of the Wild Zelda. It's like,
Hmm.
really? That's what
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
landing on? Is Breath of the Wild Zelda? No, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. Echo Zelda. If we're gonna get a
yeah.
second Zelda, there's the pick.
Agreed. Yeah, it's better than Breath of the Wild, Zelda, or Toy Link. So, hooray! It exists.
Yeah. Like I do think like there'd be at least one where you're summoning a basic enemy. Maybe it'd be
Mhm.
rope, which is not a rope, it's a little snake. Maybe that or like keys. So, something along those lines. That just like goes out and does an attack. Or you could bring out trying to find another good example. Something like maybe the crow could pick Zelda up and carry her, or Octorok could be someone below her and she bounces off the Octorok into the air. That's kind of a funny picture to me. I don't know if that's how Octoroks are used in the game, but that's a funny picture to me. Just
Good.
bounce off
Yeah.
of its bulbous body. I'm amused by it.
That could be like if you had a duo character of you and I. That could be one of the specials.
Yeah, but which one of us is doing the bouncing off the other?
I'm taller than you, so you could bounce off me.
Oh,
Yeah, and then there's I mean, you can maybe summon a more powerful enemy like a Lionel or something for the final smash. I don't know.
no, 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 no. The final smash is when she goes into the Link form.
Yeah, I was trying to wonder if that was like, oh, it's
It's
Link
Triforce
again, but yes,
Slash.
that's yeah, yeah, yeah. There has to be a way to not do Triforce Slash, but yeah, I think that would be what it would be too.
I mean, another move could be summoning out Beamos, and it does like a laser move. Not
Mm-hmm.
final smash, but I'm meaning more like weaker Thoron is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
picturing. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Summon
Just
a Wall Master or Floor Master to grab opponents.
summon a box or a pot, and it's just there to be an obstacle. It just appears in front of her
Mm-hmm.
like it can stop somebody that was trying to run into her. Now they've got to hit this box before they can get to her.
Yeah. The Goose Spectre would be a funny one too.
Oh, I heard. Okay, that makes more sense now. I heard goose, Pector, and I was like, what? What about a goose?
Untitled Goose Game representation.
We already had that on the wiki. It's already there.
Yeah, it is.
But you could
But
also have like the Poe, like it could do something. I don't know. Like
mm-hmm.
there's a fuck ton of options.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these that like
Most of,
have
yeah.
upgrades over themselves, like there's old bed, soft bed, Zelda's bed. There's Sword Moblin, Sword Moblin level 2, Sword Moblin level 3. Depending on
Mm-hmm.
what you pick, you could have an upgrade system of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like a meter or an extra skill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of interesting things. If you can kind of find some sort of order to how you would do it, having a summoning character is a tantalizing thought.
Mm-hmm. Like I
And then
I
again,
honestly like
yeah.
I feel like I would have a hard time making this just because it's like, God, what the fuck direction would I even want to go? I don't know,
Hmm.
man. Do I go the Yugi Moto in Mega Man Battle Network route and just do everything? Do I do that?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I
No.
want to find out more about how you would summon meat for Echo Zelda.
Summon what? Say that
Meat,
again?
of course.
Oh, meat. Okay.
You thought I said me?
I did, but I also thought I heard the word fruit,
No.
so I was very confused.
Okay.
What
Okay.
does the meat do? Oh, can lure enemies. There's nothing for that to work in Smash. You can't make that work. It's impossible.
What?
Making the meat work.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know.
It's just bait. I can't make bait work in Smash. Like if we had Subspace Emissary, I could make it work in that mode as an item,
Yep.
but otherwise no. No. But yeah, so that's Peach and Zelda, basically all their capabilities. If I want to go a little bit deeper into mentioning like what all of Peach's different things can do, so like Sword Fighter Peach has like rapid sword slashes, and can also do a spin attack while she's on the ground. She can dodge and then slash. Detective Peach reveals things, finds clues, solves mysteries. Patissier Peach makes cookies and cakes.
Yes.
Nothing else I can say about that. Kung Fu, uh, kicks, jumps and kicks. That's it. Oh, you can
Yep.
also grab onto a pole and then spin kick around it. That's fun. I like doing that. Ninja Peach is about dashing. You can do like just like a basic slash attack, but also just does like a dash slash. Actually, no, it's only dash slashes. Actually, there's no just basic slash. But also, when leaned up against a wall, you can disguise yourself, hold up like some fake cardboard grass, and enemies won't notice you.
Yep.
Cowgirl Peach has her lasso that she can just throw, and she can pick up a barrel and then toss it. Figure Skater Peach has a spin attack. She spins and kicks you with her skate. Dashing Thief can hack. Not that that'll really work anything in Smash. She's got a hang glider, so that's something cool you could do with. And she's also got a grappling hook that she can throw omnidirectionally. And the game does a bad job with. Mm. Mermaid Peach can sing to control fish. Now, I actually have an interesting idea for an attack with this. This is
Okay.
a charged attack. Peach is just like humming. Fish start swimming around her in a circle. You aim where you want the attack to go. And then you let go, and like a string of fish all go flying in that direction. There's
Yeah.
something unique
Yeah. There
visually,
you
at
go.
least. I mean, other attacks similar to that exist, but it'd be different
Sure, but
visually. And then Mighty Peach has superpowered punches, which can either just but unfortunately, again, it's not just like a stay in place punch. It's always a dash punch. I hate it, but you're gonna do it. And she's
hmm
also strong in this form, so she can pick up and throw vehicles and fly. Mighty Peach can fly.
yeah. Yeah. He's like Mecha Fiora.
Well, no, it's a superhero, not not that.
Yeah, it's like Astro Boy.
No,
No, it's like Mighty Number 9.
getting there. That's closer.
Mighty Peach 9.
And then Radiant Peach, Super Radiant Peach, they just like shoot radiant projectiles or giant radiant laser in very much Kirby fashion.
hmm Sweet. Okay, so there's a fair amount there, and there are different things you can do. Um, I guess that as we've been saying, the character would just kind of swap between these costumes on the fly between moves.
I'm not sure if they would do that just because like limitations of the game and all the loading
hmm
you have to do with that would be a lot.
hmm
But theoretically, yeah. I don't know if I would do it that way though, or if I'll just like keep it to be in the base costume
Mm-hmm.
and have just like she just does the things. But at the same time, one problem I kind of have with that is what is to visually set apart this Peach from regular Peach besides her hair is in a different style.
Right. Right. And that would kind of lead you down the rabbit hole of, oh, you could also have it, and this is not the Smash or Dash Peach that we're talking about, just in theory. Oh, you can just have one of the, like, say Cowgirl Peach. It's like, oh, it's Cowgirl Peach is playable.
No, just do Arthur Morgan.
Yep. And
Like
Swordfighter Peach.
I guess what you could do is you could pick your costume, and it could be like any of the I can't say any of the 10 because Mermaid Peach doesn't really work. But you just like pick one of them to be like your main costume, and then you just do all the things as that, and who cares? And Sword Fighter Peach would probably be the default because like I think that's the first one. Well, actually, I mean you get to choose between four for your first level, but like it was the one that was in most of the marketing. Like most of the marketing was Sword Fighter Peach and a little bit of Detective, but it primarily Sword Fighter was like what we really saw when this game was first revealed. So I feel like that's what the prime for it would be. And then if
Mm-hmm.
there is any like costume changing through using your moves, it would just be a very brief, oh look, you're detective, and then you go back to being sword fighter or whatever your costume is.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Echo Zelda would be about Toon Link size when it has her own distinct costume.
Right. Right. Yeah, and the you can't mistake her for regular Zelda, like just the way
No.
she looks. It's what is it? Buzz Lightyear all over again. You are a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of both of these two characters, but I think the discussion for me, I'm leaning Echo Zelda because it feels more like there's less need or necessity that we're perceiving to compromise with that character.
Yeah. I'm of the same mind here. Um Showtime Peach has the costume issue, and also just like figuring out. I think she has a harder time figuring out how she would work versus
Mm-hmm.
Echo Zelda, where we there is zero costume issue. We know more or less how she would work. It's just narrowing it down.
Mm-hmm.
She has a unique presence, and also if I'm looking at their two games, which maybe this isn't
Yeah.
fair to put in the discussion here, but Echoes of Wisdom, better game.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Well, it is Smash or Dash, and I guess anything kind of goes into the context of our vote.
True.
So just for the record, I'm voting Echo Zelda.
I am voting Echo Zelda.
I'm voting White Mage from Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Should vote for the Cactuar.
Yeah, agreed. I actually had that thought immediately after saying
Good.
that.
All right, and with that, we have our first Smash Dash winner of the season, Echo Zelda. We will see you in Tournament of Champions. I don't know how well you'll do since you're just a second version of Zelda, but I like that we had this conversation.
Maybe she'll win. There's at least one reality where that is true.
There's
I'll give
at
her
least
that much.
one character that I think she'll beat.
You could say that for every year because there's some stuff that happens towards the end of the season, reliably.
There's one episode in particular. Well, that's true. You're right. There's at least 3 or 4 that I think she would beat. Oh god, she has a chance. She has a chance. This is theoretically possible.
I see the one that you have highlighted in our doc, and I can agree with that too. Anyway, uh,
Yeah,
hooray!
yeah. So next matchup. Next matchup, we've got a remake horror game duo. we've
Yeah.
got Leon S. Kennedy from the remake of Resident Evil 4 and James Sunderland from the remake of Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Now, I recently watched for the first time both the original Silent Hill and the remake. I watched the remake first, and then because I had enough time, I watched the remake of Resident Evil 4. I didn't watch the original because I'd already watched that years ago, and it seems more or less the same, with the exception of Ramon is a completely different looking character. Everything else seems pretty
Hmm.
much the same. He's just they really changed his design. It's fine, just very noticeable.
Right.
He went from Napoleon Bonaparte to George Washington.
Did he really? I haven't played the remake.
Yeah, yeah, he's no longer a little short shithead.
That is so odd, but okay.
I don't know why they did it. I assume they had their reasons.
Hmm.
Maybe they didn't want to like have any what's the word I want to go for here? Any insensitivities. That's kind of my
Hmm.
theory.
I agree. I agree.
But we got the heroes from both of these games. Leon, a an agent for the U.S. government after the events of Raccoon City, who's told, "Hey, the president's daughter has been kidnapped. Go get her back." And then
Hmm.
James is, "Hey, my wife's been dead for 3 years, but I also got a letter from her saying to meet her in this weird town of Silent Hill that we went on vacation in. It's like a few years ago. Okay, I'll go there. Oh God, this place is fucked." Actually, both characters go to places where it's like, "Oh God, this town is fucked,"
Yep. Yep.
and they react
Yep.
in different ways. So, I think you might know Leon. Uh, I think you know Leon fairly well, if I'm not mistaken. You made a moveset for him a few years ago. So, why don't you tell us about
Hmm.
Leon?
Okay, yeah. I mean, yes, you are. Resident Evil 4 is the game that really kickstarted modern Resident Evil. It was massively acclaimed. This is where people got to really know Leon, even though he also appears in Resident Evil 2 as kind of like a rookie officer that you play as alongside
His first day
other.
on the job,
Yeah.
zombie outbreak.
His first day on the job is the zombie apocalypse. Very iconic for Raccoon City. But the events of Raccoon City dissipate. He eventually, the president's daughter is kidnapped, as you say, taken to a remote kind of a like Spanish island where there are things to do with Umbrella as well. And just immediately he gets there, and the villagers are extremely hostile and want to kill him. So there's a time, and he just goes from there, fighting very like giant alligator monsters. This George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, Hillary Clinton lookalike dude.
Oh
Uh,
God, you're right.
Look at somebody said that in the subreddit where I found that new picture of him. It's like, oh, you're right. And then just going from there, it ends in a epic showdown between him and, well, I don't think this is much of a spoiler, Albert Wesker. And there you go.
Wait,
Throughout the
what?
game, you collect
Wesker's
what?
not. No, you don't.
Wait, no, you don't.
No, Wesker only
I'm
shows up
forgetting
in
the
like the
name of the
post
villain.
credits.
That's right. Oh,
Uh,
Osmond. Osmond. That was his name, if I recall. And there's that
oh, that's why
giant
I got
thing that he
confused.
turns
You called him
into.
Osmond. I'm thinking
Hmm.
Sadler. It's like no, it's Sadler. It's like oh, Osmond Sadler.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, Osmond Sadler. But yes, all that happens at the end. There's some fuckery with Wesker and the T virus and what happens to Sadler at the end. But yes, you have a variety of different weapons that you can fight with. I would say Leon is a much more he takes a much more direct approach to what happens during the events of this game than James does. Silent Hill is. I haven't played the games, but my knowledge of it is it's much more of a traditional horror in the sense that it's not very action oriented.
It's closer to the original Resident Evils, where it's very puzzle. You're
Hmm.
picking up items. I don't remember for sure if you combine, but you gotta find the right places to put them and solving riddles and such. Resident Evil 4 is when they transition to being more actiony for Resident Evil series.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Okay. So, yeah. What about James? You could tell us a little more about him.
So James Sunderland, oh boy. So well, first of all, something I gotta say about the Silent Hill town. Silent Hill, I don't know if it's sentient, but but there's some kind of presence to Silent Hill that it brings people in. It invites people to the town, and it makes them go through some shit, some mental
Hmm.
fuckery. I don't know necessarily why Silent Hill does this. I've only watched Silent Hill 2. I want to watch the other games at some point, but the monsters that you encounter in Silent Hill 2 are all pulled from either like from James or from the other characters that you meet in the game. I'm trying to remember what their other names were. Because there's a few. There's a couple. There's like two primary ones. Or there's Eddie, and then who's the girl? Trying to find her. Oh, Angela. Eddie and Angela. Uh, and they represent like different parts of these characters' trauma. Like Pyramid Head, who we've talked about before the show, we put him up against the Lich King from World of Warcraft. Pyramid Head comes from James's. I don't know if subconscious is the right word, but he's supposed to like represent James's his guilt more or less, and
Hmm.
his desire for punishment because he knows he did a bad. James doesn't fully remember what this bad is even at the beginning of the game. In the end, he remembers what happened. I don't want to get too far spoilers. I feel like even just saying that once you start looking at the game, it kind of gives it all away.
Hmm.
So I kind of think, God, it's hard to say. Uh, he's basically having to fight his own trauma and all these other characters trauma like one of the other characters, Angela. There's a boss that you'd fight as James that represents Angela's father, and it's called uh the Abstract Daddy. And it's called abstract because the
Yeah.
model of this creature, I'm just going to send you this link. Basically imagine two bodies in a bed frame trapped a in a bag of skin. That's kind of how I'm going to
Okay.
frame this.
Okay.
You
And
can the one of the two bodies is on top of the other and is the daddy. And I think you kind of get where I'm going with here on what Angela's trauma is. And James has to fight that. It's a thing.
uh, well, what the fuck?
Great question. Moving on. So yeah, Silent Hill is fucked. I don't know why
Yeah.
this town exists, like in universe. What caused all this to occur? But it's some fucked up shit. And as
Yeah.
far as James's gameplay, so like Leon's gameplay is gun, 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 combat knife, gun, gun, rocket launcher. James is, hey, I have a 2x4, and I have a metal pipe, and I have a handgun, and I think he also gets a rifle. And that's all of James' weapons. That's all he gets. So if you're wondering here, Jono, okay, well that sounds like James would have he just can't do anything. He just has like the most basic shit. It's like you're right. But what did I say about the monsters? They come
Hmm.
from them. James is a summoner. James Sunderland would fight by unintentionally summoning the monsters to do attacks, including Pyramid Head.
Yeah. Yeah. So James has what were his standards? So he has a pistol, a knife,
Yeah.
2x4, and a pillow.
What?
What?
You said a pistol, a knife, something I quite didn't understand you saying, and then a pillow?
Apparently.
Bitch, do you pay attention?
A 2x4 is what you didn't hear.
Okay, well that part is yes, he does have that. Yeah,
Okay,
like that's
okay.
like he basically has two melee and two ranged weapons. He starts out the 2x4 and then replaces it with a lead pipe.
Hmm.
And then he gets a handgun and he also gets a rifle later.
Okay,
Oh, that's right. There's
okay.
something else I forgot. I forgot about this. I don't know if this was in the remake because I didn't because the Let's Player I watched didn't get it. But when I watched somebody play the original version, he was also able to pick up and equip Pyramid Head's giant knife. Because
Oh my god.
yeah, at one point Pyramid Head abandons the knife to pick up a spear, and there's some whole symbology going on with James stuff there. And James can take the knife and he can actually use it.
Hmm. Nice. Also, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the game also has multiple endings that you can get based on doing a certain few different factors, or like how often you heal yourself during the final boss fight. Like if you choose not to heal yourself very quickly, you can get a different ending than if you do heal yourself quickly,
Right.
which is
Right.
different.
Hmm. Yeah, what a slam dunk for Konami, which is something that we wouldn't have said a few years ago about anything.
I mean, Bloober
Silent
Team did
Hill
a
2,
good job with the remake, honestly. Like, I don't
yeah,
know how
like
people like. I know before release, people saw Bloober and they were just like, "Oh no, it's gonna be bad." I'm just like, okay, but watching the remake and then watching the original, it's like it seemed like they did a pretty good job to me.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like this is like such a psychologically screwy story, and it's really uh sunk its teeth into people. Like it's a very critically acclaimed game. So this is a good matchup on that level too.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. You're right. Where I'm thinking now, like you can summon Pyramid Head and I guess some of the other monsters. The only other monster I know of is the nurse. That's the other one
um,
that comes around in
there's also
like
the
popular
mannequin,
media.
the mannequin, which basically looks like a pair of legs on top of another pair of legs.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. That's what it looks like.
Oh God, that is somehow worse than the mannequins in Resident Evil 8. That's cool.
Yeah,
Great. Um
yeah, they're
I'm gonna
weird. I don't like them.
yeah. It's disturbing to me, yes.
Yeah,
Um
they are a
yeah.
representation of James's sexuality and memories of his terminally ill wife's hospitalization.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know, like so
this
Leon
series
it
is
is.
fucked.
I was,
If we're talking likelihood, James is not getting in. Never,
hell hell
ever.
no.
Nothing from
Hell,
Silent Hill would get in.
this
But
is like
God,
some of this shit you're saying is like Binding of Isaac. I'm like, okay. It looks a lot better than Binding of Isaac though.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. So again, another summoner and the summoned monsters are like so fucked.
yeah,
And they
really.
could deal some serious damage, I'm sure. Pyramid Head, I mean that's one thing, and then all these other ones, like, oh my god. Um yeah, the Leon moveset I made, I tried to eschew from the standard pistol or the standard rocket launcher where I could. So, just a quick review of that moveset. The standard special is the PRL 412, that heavy laser that gets towards the end of the game. So you're kind of using it like a less hefty version of like Mega Man's Final Smash, where you're using this weapon to cock it to fire, and then using like a tractor beam to hit people. Then there's the chainsaw that the Ganado uses famously for his side. He has the hook shot that he uses to fight the sea monster with as a sub special, like a tether thing, not that exciting. Flamethrower for the down special. and then just his like ridiculous like Chuck Norris B movie Hasta Lego karate combo for the final smash, and the extra skill summoning a zombie, like in Marvel vs. Capcom. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
to be clear, it's what
ish.
Jill does in Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah, yeah,
2.
yep, yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
Also, with the final question, I just want to make a note. You mentioned that it's Leon performing a roundhouse kick and going to cinematic, but then also, as it fucking should, he fires a rocket launcher. Any
Yep.
Resident Evil hero that
Yep.
gets into
Yep.
Smash and doesn't use the rocket launcher as their final Smash is wrong. Because that's how you end
Mm-hmm.
every Resident Evil game.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like this cheesy B movie quality to Resident Evil. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and then you have the dead opposite on the other side.
Yeah, that's yeah. Honestly, with James found to make moves with him, I am going monster. Like I don't think there's enough monsters like James related monsters to make a full moves, like make a full like set of specials. So I'm not too sure what I
Mm-hmm.
would do with the rest of it. Maybe pull in like if there's anything that's neutral. I'm not entirely certain. Apparently there's a monster called the Creeper, which is an insect type monster that's in both the original Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2. And it's connected to a different character that's not in Silent Hill 2, so I'm not sure how that works out.
Man, they got
Maybe.
Caliban in this game from X-Men.
Oh no, this is literally just a bug. I that's
Oh,
okay. No, that's gonna be fine. What are you talking about, Callisto or Caliban?
yeah, he's here.
Why are you mentioning
It's
Caliban
because it's a monster in Silent Hill.
in Silent Hill Origins? A
Oh,
different game, idiot.
still interested to see that crossover with X-Men.
It's not. I hate talking to you. Fuck off. But like, there's the mannequin. There's the lying figure.
Yes.
I'm not too sure what else is connected to James entirely. The Bubblehead Nurse is, that's for sure. There's a final boss whose name I won't say because it's a spoiler. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's the Flesh Lip, which is connected to James. I think that's a boss fight. I think I know which one that is. I have to spend more time to actually look at things on that one.
God,
Um,
what the fuck is that thing? Jesus Christ.
yeah, everything in this game is fucked. The Mandarin is also
Uh-huh.
apparently comes from James. I don't
Another
remember
Marvel
this
character.
creature though. Stop! Swear to
Just
God.
saying there's
Shut the
some
fuck
inspiration was
up.
had here.
No, there's not. Shut your face.
The 10 rings.
I'm going to strangle you.
You can
Get it
find
the
my neck.
fuck. Giotto. Reel it in. My God. Between Bubblehead Nurse, Creeper, not Creeper, Bubblehead Nurse, Fleshlip, Lying Figure, Mannequin, Final Boss, Pyramid, I guess there are enough things that you could pull all the specials for. I still don't know what they would do necessarily. Besides Pyramid Head could either do a knife attack or a spear attack. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I don't know. I it's hard to envision without like doing the getting deep into it. And I'm not doing that right now. But I think there is room for things.
Well, I mean, looking a cursory look at the Silent Hill wiki too. While you're talking about this, I mean, they're all manifestations of his trauma. Essentially, they're there because he put them there, and that's the basis of the moveset.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in later Silent Hill games, Konami wanted to bring in, or I don't know if it was actually like Konami company wise, or just like people making new games. They wanted to have Pyramid Head be in the game, and to create a Silent Hill 2, it's like no, That doesn't make any
Mm-hmm.
sense. Pyramid Head is explicitly connected to James. Yeah, you guys made the movies and made Pyramid Head be different, and because of that, you pretty much made him be the symbol of the franchise. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not how Silent Hill and Pyramid Head work.
Right.
And yet, Konami was just like, fuck you. We do what we
Yep.
want. And
Yep.
to a degree, I get it, because who's to say that Silent Hill can't manifest these different creatures to have the same design, but for different people? Like, I get that.
Sure.
And I think, like,
Sure.
that
Sure.
later version of Pyramid has, like, its own, like, a kind of a different name or title to it. It's like the Torturer or something to that
The
effect.
shadowed one,
That
apparently.
doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, that's an Homecoming. Okay then.
Oh, oh, I see what you're saying. Um,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that was it. But yeah, and I don't know. I think they can easily. Well, I don't want to say easily. I think Pyramid or a James moveset could work. I also do wonder though if, considering that's how he works, would it not just be better to do Pyramid Head himself as the character? I mean, would it be the first time he's appeared separate from James again, not just with later Silent Hill games, but also Dead by Daylight? He was
Mm-hmm.
added as a killer to that game. Silent Hill did get a survivor, but it got Cheryl, who's from Silent Hill 3. We
Mm-hmm.
do get James as a costume that you can buy, and he'll replace Cheryl, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still Cheryl is the character. Those
Right.
two things are based
Right.
on. And then they gave us a
Mm-hmm.
Silent Hill 1 map. They were trying to balance it
Right.
out, but
Yeah. Yeah. Pyramid Head is the most recognizable thing from the franchise for sure.
easily, easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pretty much the only thing that has slipped into like mainstream media
Yeah.
from the franchise. Mhm. And apparently for good reason. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, this series is fucked, man.
I mean, I'm kind of interested. I'm more interested in playing it now, but also like on just that all-encompassing level. I'm like, does that? And this is not rate their chances, but does that hurt the character's chances? Yeah, yeah. In Smash
It
proper,
hurts their
yes.
oh yeah, in Smash proper, it's not happening. Flat
Hmm.
out.
Even Pyramid Head. I mean, like, oh, I'm like, this the connotations of what Pyramid Head represents. I'm like, okay, they're like, no,
No.
yeah. What? Not when they haven't done Resident Evil. Anyway, okay. Again, you're going for kind of like the comic-y, like the slightly comedic comic-y B movie horror franchise, or the very serious, dark psychological horror franchise, and they both kind of these two characters represent those things well. Yeah, there's a reason that for fans of this kind of game, these two series are held in the respect that they are.
Yeah. These are like the two biggest iconic horror franchises of the PS1 era. I don't know if they
Hmm.
I think they probably both still are. Other things have come up since then, like Alan Wake, but I think like these two are still like the two kings of horror when it comes to video games.
Yeah,
That
for
said, Resident
sure.
Evil has gotten more actiony, but
Hmm.
still.
Yeah, I can only think of things that were kind of shorter lived, like well, Castlevania, but that's not really. It's more like just a gothic
Yeah,
game,
Castlevania is
you know.
not horror. Absolutely
Hmm.
not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's like Dead Space, shit like that,
True.
but nothing to this extent. Okay. What are you thinking? What are you thinking with this matchup?
I mean, Leon is a lot more classic.
Hmm.
Resident Evil is the franchise that I know more. I watched most of the franchise. I didn't watch like all the smaller spin-offs, but I watched all the big numbered titles, including Zero.
And then Netflix series
No, I did not watch the Netflix series or any of the movies. I also did not watch the Silent Hill movies.
for good.
Yeah. So like I know I'm more familiar with Leon. I think Leon personality wise would be more fun. But
Hmm.
James, I like the idea. It's like you and how you like stance changing and horses, and I like summoning characters.
Right.
It's like that's the hill I die on. It's like I want the summoning character,
The
motherfucker.
Silent Hill. The Silent Hill. Yes.
Yes, like whether that's an Echoes Zelda or a James Sunderland or a Pokemon trainer that's not just the one we have in Smash already. Something else that works that way. I don't know. I like the idea of so many characters. That's my
Hmm.
big thing. And James could definitely work as that and like to be this weird, dark horror character. While at the same time, like he'd be reacting to it like I imagine he's just like, holy shit, what like what? He doesn't know why these monsters are appearing. He's probably not intentionally causing them to appear. I don't think he would like that if he realized it was him doing it.
Hmm.
And then it's like this character just reacting to all these monsters appearing around him and they're attacking his opponents for him. I just think there's something really amusing about that. I don't like I'm leaning James because of this. I'm not I can still be swayed back to Leon, but I really like the idea of how he could potentially function. Like originally when I was when I was just early on watching Silent Hill 2, I was just like, man, James has nothing. There's nothing here that I can work with. It's gonna be a Leon slam dunk. But then after thinking about it more about how he's technically a summoner, it's like, oh, wait a minute. There's ideas. There's ideas here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So when you started talking, I mean, I was of the same mind at first, but when you started talking about James and how he can summon these monsters and his reaction towards them, that would be very unique within the landscape of Smash. No doubt about that. I was interested and appreciated this like new insight because I'd never given it that thought before. Um, but also as you continued on and we talked about the different kinds of monsters there are, the Mandarin, the Abstract Daddy, this and that, and then looking at these things on the Silent Hill wiki, there is there's a big hook in my brain. I'm like, can I go to this extent with this character? I mean, just knowing that it would never happen in Smash and this is our fantasy land, yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's like I'm also kind of uncomfortable with it on a personal level,
That's
like
fair.
just
That's fair.
beyond Smash. Like I'm like Leon is absolutely, he's the milk toast option. He would bring something unique to Smash, but it's something more fully realized, and it's the less interesting option as a result. Like it just is. He
Yeah.
always was going to be. There's a mystique to a character like James who you have to wrap your brain around and find a new way to make work.
It isn't just
Um,
guns and
right,
explosives.
right. But that's my hang up. It's like, oh, haha, funny M-rated game versus, oh, 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 oh. you know, that's my hang up with saying James. So I'm leaning Leon. That's where we're at here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James is he would bring Smash will go to M. It has no choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why it wouldn't happen
Yeah.
in real life. Leon, Dante, characters like that, they're so fucking cheesy. It just it works. It's
Yeah.
natural. But yeah, I mean, in theory, I could be swayed. I don't know how, but in theory I could.
I think here's what I'll do to do this here.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of James. I like the idea of Leon. I think I like more the idea of the character of Leon versus what James can do. It's kind of where the debate for me falls.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but since James is such, there's a lot of unknown, and even though Leon is more bog standard guns, uh, um, bolt, crossbow,
Hmm.
combat knife.
Flamethrower, Hasta Luego,
Right. But to be
etc.
fair, the closest thing we have to that in Smash currently is just Solid Snake. But Snake is really just explosives. He's not
Hmm.
actually guns. I mean, Bayonetta also has guns, and Joker sort of has a gun.
Hmm. Yeah, there's still room to do it in a unique fashion, I think.
Yeah. And honestly, of the Resident Evil heroes, Leon is number one or two, I think, for me. It's him or
Hmm.
Jill. Not
Yeah.
Chris. I think Chris is boring.
Hmm.
He just doesn't interest me as much. And then Claire is fine, but I think she pales in comparison to Leon and Jill. And then
Yeah.
Jake, Ada, um,
Ethan.
I actually will include Ethan. Ethan has a completely different problem where they legit will not allow us to know what his face looks like.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
Ada and Jake are just like flat out for different reasons. And then Rose.
That would be unique.
Oh, I forgot Rebecca. Rebecca's okay. She's in the same tier as Claire.
Yeah.
And then their psychic characters like Sheva in all the various. There's some other psychics I don't know, like in Resident Evil 6. But I think Leon is like a very strong choice. Like I would pick Wesker first,
Hmm.
but as a hero choice, Leon's a strong one. And James just got some weird stuff to him. I like both of these options, but I am willing to go with just Leon because I do like him.
Okay. If you want to make it easy and not do a tiebreaker.
I do.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll
I
say
don't
Leon.
like having ties just for the sake of having ties.
We don't really do that often.
You're right. We don't. Well, I'm looking the wrong direction because I'm looking at the orientation of my Discord window versus the orientation of what the supercast for this thing is. Yeah, we don't,
Oh,
bitch. You did it a couple times last season, at least.
did I, or were there legitimate reasons?
At least one of them was you just doing it.
I don't even remember what that was. That much is true. But yeah,
I'm not entirely sure. I just know it happened. I was like, seriously? God.
I
I
have
was
a vague
annoyed.
remembering of that. Yes.
But with that, Leon is going to be moving on. Both him and Echoes Zelda will enter Tournament of Champions 6 at the end of the season.
Hmm. My
And that's
lord.
the end. I think that's all I really got for the end of him. Next time on Super Smash Brothers, hey Jonno, it's been 6 years since Smash Ultimate released.
Wow.
Well, almost, because from the time this episode is gonna air, in 1 week, Smash Ultimate will be 6 years old. By the time the next episode airs, Smash Ultimate will be 6 years and a week old. Sadly, we couldn't, just because of the way our
Yeah.
schedule upload works out, we didn't have the anniversary date. It's sad. I'm disappointed. But I thought what would be fun is we have a little 6th anniversary special kind of
Yeah.
deal. And we speculate what Super Smash for the next console could be. Maybe.
In theory, it could be coming out sooner than you think. So we got to get ahead of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we talked about the topic before, but I feel like it's been a few years. We actually had like a huge since it was a huge topic on our show. So
Hmm.
let's talk about it again in our next on
Yeah.
topic episode.
I am looking forward to it.
I would hope so.
And remember,
Please subscribe.
you
Wait,
got
no.
it. Yeah, please smash that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the episode, and reach us back here at Supercast for the. You got to be strong to survive. Remember that.
I thought you were going to say the email address.
Oh, yeah, supercastbrothers at yahoo.com. You can email us whenever you like. Good times. Yeah, Yahoo. That's our show, all right.
Yep.
The other thing was the Xenoblade quote.
Don't forget me.
Precisely. Hey, there's Dunban over there.
God, what's the other one from Xenoblade 2? That's a generic soldier quote. Is it think you? I think it's think you can take me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyways,
there's a lot of cheese there. Anyway.
there so is. See you then. Bye.